Have you ever read a book or watched a movie and just got that feeling that there's something more going on beneath the surface? Like a secret language that's just waiting for you to crack the code? Well, you're not wrong. And today we're going to dive into one of the coolest ways authors do this, how they tell a story within another story.
So let's start with a bit of a puzzle. A story can seem totally straightforward, right? Maybe even, a simple kid's tale. But what if that simple surface is just a cover for something way bigger and maybe even a little dangerous?
I mean, seriously, what if a story about talking animals on a farm was secretly telling the tale of one of history's most violent revolutions? That's exactly what George Orwell did in his classic book, Animal Farm. It looks like a fable about pigs and horses, but underneath it all, it's the brutal, true story of the Russian Revolution. So how on earth did he pull that off? Well, it all comes down to one really powerful literary device.
And that device is called an allegory. This is the master key, is what unlocks the hidden meaning not just in Animal Farm, but in tons of stories you've probably already seen or read. So what exactly is it?
Okay, so here's the deal. An allegory basically works on two levels. First, you've got the surface story. That's the stuff you see right away. The characters, the setting, the plot. The animals on the farm. But then there's a whole other story hidden underneath, and that's the one the author really wants to tell. The surface story is just a symbol for something else. The easiest way I think about it is like a literary code. Every single character, every event that happens on the surface, it's all a stand-in for a real-world person or a real-life event or a big idea. And once you know the code, the whole story just transforms right in front of your eyes. All right, to really see how this works in action, let's head back to the farm. The first step to cracking any allegory is to get a good handle on that surface story. So on the face of it, Animal Farm is a story about a rebellion. The animals are living these miserable lives under their human farmer, a guy named Mr. Jones. But they're inspired by this dream of freedom and equality, so they rise up, they kick him out, and they decide to build a new society, one where they're the ones in charge. This quote here from Old Major, he's the wise old pig who kicks the whole thing off, it just perfectly captures that initial dream. It's this powerful, inspiring call to action, a promise of a better world where everyone is united and free from their oppressors. But this is where the code starts to come into play. Because you see, every single piece of that animal rebellion is a direct parallel to one of the most important events of the 20th century, the Russian Revolution. This is the hidden story. This is the real deal.
And this is where it all just clicks into place. Old Major, the pig with the big revolutionary dream, he represents the fathers of communism, Karl Marx and Vladimir Lenin. Then you've got the two pigs who take charge, Napoleon and Snowball. Well, they're direct stand-ins for Joseph Stalin and his great rival, Leon Trotsky. And Boxer, the horse who just says, "I will work harder," he's the symbol for the dedicated but ultimately betrayed working class. And those vicious dogs that Napoleon uses to enforce his rule, you guessed it, they're the secret police.
Now check this out. This is how the allegory shows the history unfolding. The animals start with these 7 commandments, their vision for a perfect, equal world. But as Napoleon, our stand-in for Stalin, starts grabbing more and more power, the rules get twisted. They're rewritten one by one until only a single, horrifying rule is left. The original dream of equality gets completely corrupted into a justification for tyranny. So this begs a really important question. Why? Why go through all this trouble? Why not just write a nonfiction book about the Russian Revolution? What's the point of creating this whole elaborate code? Well, Orwell himself actually told us why. He wanted to expose the terrifying truth of what was happening in Soviet Russia, but he wanted to do it in a way that anyone could get. I mean, you don't need a history degree to understand a story about greedy pigs taking advantage of hardworking horses. The allegory makes this really complex, heavy history feel personal and immediate. And that really points to the 3 superpowers of allegory. First, like Orwell did, it makes incredibly complex ideas and histories simple and digestible. Second, it lets an author criticize powerful people or really sensitive topics without, getting in huge trouble. It's a way to speak truth to power from a safe distance. And third, by using universal symbols, like animals, it creates a message that lasts forever. A story that can apply to any place at any time where power starts to corrupt. So now that we've unlocked the secret of allegory, you've basically just gained a new superpower for how you read the world around you. And look, the really crucial thing to remember here is that this isn't just about one book. This is a tool you can use absolutely everywhere. It's a new lens for watching movies, for looking at TV shows, even for understanding political cartoons.
It really empowers you to look past the surface and find that deeper, hidden commentary that's so often hiding in plain sight.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Now that you know how to crack the code, think about the stories that you love. Is there a hidden layer you never noticed before? A secret message just waiting to be found? What deeper truths might they be trying to tell you?